Hey guys, how we doing? 3 days after Erzberg. Ryan, my filmer, just put together this video, 20 minutes long, and we're gonna do a voiceover and then put it on YouTube. But here we go, let's get started. So, coming into pit here. I just moved into second right before this and actually had quite a bit of momentum going. Didn't quite know how to work the fuel jug. Had to ask Nigel if it worked, but yeah, we got that fairly quick. This section we actually rode on the tours right here, the rocks, and I had a huge crash, like huge. Manny told me to sit down and I hit my head so hard. Somewhere maybe just after this, I high-sided, fell on a rock on my head and my shoulder and couldn't lift my arm pretty much the whole week. And my brand new Red Bull helmet was scratched and wasn't dented, but yeah, it was a hard hit. Like, it rang my bell. Luckily, it was all good. It's not a super hard section right here. It's just you got to keep it moving and try not to hit any holes. And this leads us right into Machine. This is the new entrance the last 2 years, I think. You just ride a bit of rocks and then... So there you can see Manny. And I was like, ooh, here we go. That got me all fired up, seeing him here. And normally Machine has been really easy the last couple of years, but this year, maybe because it's the 30th, they threw some rocks on it, so this actually takes a lot longer than normal. Normally this is under a minute, but they threw some big ass rocks, and it's also a bit drier. Normally the dirt's wet, so the rocks don't move so much, but me and Manny both kind of struggled on this. Definitely a ton of people there. I don't remember seeing any of those people in the race though. I was locked in. Oh, nice over the rock there. Yeah, so normally we just ride right up this without stopping, but they somehow rolled huge rocks right onto the trail. Must have taken quite a bit of time. But you can see we're both kind of struggling a bit. Did that okay. Manny's off the bike there, looks back at me, maybe feeling a little bit nervous. That was the first time I've ever caught him at this race, so I was feeling pretty good. This section, I think I screw up pretty bad. You see, I just spun on the holy huge rock, just moved it right here. No. Thought I made a mistake there. That was actually quite nice. I think right where Manny's stuck, I'm gonna get stuck too, and I have to lift. Oh, Manny got off the bike too. Makes me feel better. Oh, we skipped it. So that's the end of Machine. Like, definitely some struggles there. You can see the big rocks. Normally, there's no rocks here. You just ride out. And there's a checkpoint right here. Probably one of the most well-known sections at Erzberg. Machine. It's been around forever, I think. Did that. Feeling really good. This is a really tough hill. It was put in 3 years ago. It was almost impossible. Didn't quite get it. Dang it. Yeah, it was a bit greasy. I hit that rock there in my back. You can see my tire mark. A bit of mud on that rock. So I didn't quite get that in one, so I probably lost 20 or 30 seconds here on Manny, because I think he got that all in one, but was still sitting pretty good here. I'm pretty fired up because we're like 40 or 50 minutes into the race here, but yeah, can't do too many mistakes like that, that's for sure. Go on, get out of there. Nice little side hill. this was much harder last year when it was wet, but you can see I just rode right up it. It wasn't much of an issue. And this is where the race kind of goes downhill for me. This is the start of it. These rocks are pretty slippery, and Manny just rode over it with his wet tire and completely made the rocks like that mud slickness, and boom, I think the chain's off right here. That's the first time, so I lost maybe 30 or 40 seconds right there on him. And then it happened every 10 or 15 minutes after that. So now we just skipped a bunch of sections that were tough, and we're now into the main Carl's Diner section. Thing. Kind of just sitting down, standing up. Trying to just keep the wheels turning Jarvis style, you know? Try not to fall in any holes. Hopefully never have to pick up the rear end out of a hole is kind of the goal in Carl's Diner. That was pretty good. Would be better standing up, but sitting down is also good. Just chugging along. Okay, yeah, so we're on the easy layer right here. There's kind of a trail here. So this is the easy side. And we're coming into the halfway point where we're going to turn back and we're going to go through the big rocks, which is where kind of all the time and the money's made. Right here was also, I made a horrible mistake right here. I think somewhere right here I should have stayed high, but I went low. Yeah, right there. I think I should have stayed up on the top left of the tape. Yeah. Dang it hard. That wasn't so bad. Maybe that was not a bad line. There's bit energy. Chain's gonna come off here. Nope. Oh god, it was close. Right here, I'm super tired. And we still, like I said, this was the easy way. And now we gotta go the exact same distance back, which is like 1 kilometer. And it's the big holes. And I'm like on absolute death row right here. Like I am ready to die. It's super hot in these rocks because the sun beats down right into them. Not looking good right there. It was really stung. Oh, this is where I really... Yep. Nice one. That's where I went down in a hole and I took the wrong line. And I had to do a gnarly line to get out. And I kind of just threw the bike, which is not what you want to do, but if I didn't throw the bike and maybe came back down, it would have been way more energy. So I stand behind that. I think I just asked for my second backpack right there. I didn't hear it, but you can see Mario, Mitch, and Tio are right there. Maybe a minute or two behind me. But I think I'm gonna gap them here in the hard section. I rode it quite good, to be honest. It's weird because the top section was easy and I think they caught me on that a bit. So they were obviously going faster in the easy section, but in this section I did some pretty gnarly lines, and like if I had messed any of them up, me or the bike was not going to be well. But yeah, I did them all pretty good. A couple mistakes, but nice. Caught the edge of that. That was nice. This is like 2 hours into this was one of the huge lines. Ryan put the camera down. We missed it. That was a huge line though. If I messed that up, it was going to be a huge high side. So now this is Segway, which is the old Motorex highway, but they logged it and threw a bunch of the tillings from the mine in it. And we're just dropping in here. This is a really steep off-camber downhill. I walked it. Now I was riding it. Now I'm back walking it. Now I'm back riding it. A little undecided here. You got to get up to the right of that big white rock. There was a nice line in there, but you had to starting on a horrible line here and then crossing onto loose rocks. You can see I just spin in a hole. I think I might throw the chain right here, somewhere in this section. Yeah, at the top. I definitely throw the chain. I think I fix it pretty quick. I just watched a video of Mario riding this. We did it pretty similar. We both had our feet off there. He had to go through this crack here, which was tricky. Moved a rock out of my way. And then right here, he got on a trail, and this is what got us to like probably that toughest section. The hill that took Manny 3 tries, it took me 3 tries. Being first is most of the time an advantage, but in this scenario, since it was dry, it was actually an advantage to be later on because a rut got put in, and even if you got down to the roots, they were going to be dry. So it was one of the rare occasions where being first or second or third even was a disadvantage. Because even from my first attempt to my third attempt, the line I made got much better. That's my first try, which actually in hindsight, Hawaiian rider Gus just told me that I probably could have pushed it from there. And after seeing Manny push it from there, I probably could have. Would have been more energy to push it. Because that was a decent push there with nothing to stand on. This is try 2, which is not great. And Mario's also, yeah, there's Mario. So I knew that I probably had 1 or 2 tries left before he was going to get in line, and we were going to have to start waiting our turn. And then that's where you start losing a ton of time. So I knew this was probably my last turn before he got in, and I greased it. Thank God. Yeah, that was really nice. Good job, Tristan. I was using second gear right there. Mario said he tried first and second, but I would never use first on that section. Not with my gear in 12. I actually used 1249. Normally I'm 1251, but the European bike was a bit different, so I tried 1249 and probably should have been 1250. This is a new little zigzag section, which was actually pretty fun. They did a good job scrubbing it in and making it rideable, which is a lot of work because you gotta move everything and cut branches out of the way. Just doing some zigzags, getting off the bike here to be safe. This has a little, you can see it's got a little log right there. I'm pretty sure it's gonna grab my rear tire and just scoop it down to the right. Let me pick it up. Yeah, right there. You can see the back end shifted to the right. Bad boy. Can't be doing that. Cannot be doing that. I watched the video of Manny do this too, but he was also pushing in there. Normally you can tell if a guy cleans it or not, or I can at least. If I'm following Manny or following someone, you can see where they're spinning their tire, and if they made a hole, then you know they probably got off and pushed it. And if it just hardly leaves a mark, most likely he just gave it a shot of gas and popped right up. Didn't get that one. And I think I could hear some other bikes here, so I knew there were multiple guys down at that hill, most likely trying it. I was praying they weren't getting it. I just watched Manny do this. He didn't get this far. He was pushing his bike like 10 feet back. I think he made a hole right here, which I think probably made it easier for me. I think one more switch back, and now we're dropping back down, and you're gonna do that big hill. This guy's gonna, I'm actually gonna what happened there. He told me to be careful of the downhill, I think, which then it made me scared because in Motor X normally there's a gnarly downhill, but it was steep, but it wasn't too bad because it was dry. If this was wet, probably not rideable, or at least gnarly. Yeah, not so bad. There was a good run out right here. And I knew this was kind of near the end of Segway. Just one big hill climb right here, and then that was pretty much it. Setup, not even third gear. I saw Manny ghost his bike here. Maybe he was in second. I think honestly my snowmobiling, that was a snowmobile climb. Might have helped me right there, to be honest. Go on, get going, boy. This is logging. So this is all new. We've never ridden this. Normally we'd still be down there on the left, but because of the login, it's all different. Because they logged it, it's way drier now because the sun gets in there, so it's not as wet. So Motor X probably will never be as hard as it was, just because it stayed damp, because the sun could never get in because of the trees. 2022, if you watch videos of Motor X Highway, it was legit that year. I've been telling everyone that was the hardest year. That was a bit of a gnarly downhill. Stuck it out. Now a little hill climb here, and you're pretty much out. Checkpoint 23. Just barely got that. Now a bit of a side hill, and then we're gonna tag onto the side hill that we've been taking the last couple of years to get out of Motor X. Which in 2022, this was a really hard section right here because it was so wet. Like getting to that tree, such a mission. Just push the whole thing. Normally this side hill right here is super wet too. Just pushing the bike right here, lifting the back up. But it's so dry, we're just riding it. Yeah, this is gonna be a hard part, but it was pretty easy because it was so dry. Cut the switch back out, that was nice. So now from here I know that there's only 3 sections left. This was a new hill, this was a tricky one. Or same hill, but it's a different entry. There was a log and a route with a short run up we had, and now we're on the side hill that we have done. But it was also much drier, so it wasn't too bad. Little zigzag there. Getting the back in the right spot, making sure I'm square. And I think you gotta ride this all in one. Backslid off. I was trying to get to that tree in one because there wasn't a setup right there. Just gotta get to this tree here. There's a flat spot. I think you'll do a right. Didn't get that. Nice boy. This is usually tricky, but because there's so many roofs right here, but it was dry, so not a problem. Now we're coming into one of the tougher hills of the race. It's a new 2 years ago, I think. This is like right after Motor X Highway. Pretty gnarly downhill here. If you messed up, you were not in a good spot. I think I'm gonna get off the bike here because we walked this last year, but then I realized it had a decent run out all the way to the bottom, where this wasn't. You couldn't go to the bottom last year. We turned right at that arrow and went back up. This year they flagged us down, which was nice because it made the hill a lot easier. Now I'm gonna bank this in. I'm gonna use the momentum of that bank to give me a little extra speed. Get this puppy all in one. That was nice. It was also a lot drier. Like that hill was tough. We all pushed on that last year. Now we're completely out of motor X or Segway. Maybe gonna do a little side hill here, but there's nothing hard left here. Although right here I did think we were gonna go back up because everyone was standing here and there was tape, so I thought we were maybe going back up, but they just funnel us out of this little hole, and now they're going to Dynamite. And when you get here, you pretty much know you're within 10 minutes of finishing the race because you only have Dynamite and Lazy Noon, which Lazy Noon is has been getting pretty tricky the way they've been marking it and throwing logs on it. Definitely harder than when it used to just be a hill climb. I much prefer the hill climb. Now we just do zigzags in the wet roots and rocks. Just gonna, I think I'm in first gear here. Just gonna go back, and then pin it out this. At that point, I did not really care. Nope, and that's it. I guess we're not gonna go to Dynamite. Maybe it died or something, but you guys, thanks for watching. Thanks to Ryan for putting that together. Enjoy. So